Hey everyone, what's up? So today I decided to make a video about the responsibility of being an empath. We always talk about the empath and the narcissist and how they just find each other so magically and it turns into this, hell ride. And we talk about the narcissist being this asshole that we have to blame. It's their fault, we're the victim, they're the perpetrator. But I think it's really important to talk about the perspective of, like, if you are an empath, how you can avoid these situations, because you do have a responsibility as an empath. And it took me a while to figure it out. I'm very empathic my whole life. Like, when you just know things about people, like you're like, oh wow, like, and if you really start asking questions, like you can just sit there and think about someone and start asking questions and like the information just downloads. Like I'm always scaring people because they're like, how do you know these things? And it's because I'm an empath. Like, I know how to channel information from the ethers, and it's really cool. But it's also been something that at times in my life has worked against me. And finally, like, it dawned on me, like it totally crystallized what I was doing, like how I was getting into situations that just didn't serve me. And like, how did I end up with a business partner who is such a douchebag, excuse me, like we were only involved for 2 months. And like, what was that? And I'm gonna tell you what that was. It's called curiosity. So empaths by nature, we have a curiosity. And that's how we start asking the questions like, gee, what's going on here? I wonder. And sometimes it's totally conscious and other times it's very unconscious. Now, some empaths, I'm not one of these empaths, like, excuse me, poor Steph. I'm not one of these empaths that wants to save the world. Like, I know that, like, I don't have that capacity. I'm very well aware. But that didn't change the fact that I had a curiosity. And my curiosity is what got me into trouble with people. Because I would be like, I wonder why this person is X, Y, and Z. And then I would start to enter that sphere, and lo and behold, I'd end up in a situation that they didn't want to change. And now, I was wasting my time and energy, and it was quite detrimental. Again, that whole like narcissist empath tango that happens. And like I said, to a lot of empaths, they have this like need to feel like they can heal the world. Stop. First of all, like, not your problem, not your responsibility. But we can't just sit back and blame the narcissist for the fact that we get annihilated in the end. Oh my gosh, I was a victim again to someone's horrible behavior. They're so awful. They're narcissistic. Like, if we know what we're doing wrong, we can totally avoid that trap. Because empaths, we get really curious. We start asking questions. And the next thing we know, we're entangled. So here's the thing. If someone isn't coming to you asking for advice or help, mind your own business. And I'm speaking to myself here. Like, it's so easy for me to like think about someone and they'd be like, and the next thing I know, I'm like asking question after question. And then when I see where they're struggling, like the go-to response is, I know how to help them. Not my problem. And it's any habit is hard to break. This one is as well. But if you're tired of being caught up in that trap of, I always help other people and this always happens to me, well, then you can prevent it. But you prevent it by minding your own freaking business. Stop getting involved where you weren't invited. Like, that's all I can really say. If someone isn't coming to you saying, hey, I really need your help, it is not your place to go, let me rescue you. Because that's what empaths do. They want to save people. Again, it's not always a conscious thing. I remember I had a mentor years ago, and she told me point blank, like, she really kind of like broke the whole idea of romance for me. Like, I'm not a romantic, and it's because I understand some of these things. We're only ever just looking to figure out ourselves, and the people around us are the mirrors to do that. Whether it's a romantic relationship, a business partnership, a family member, it's always about, you know, seeing something in them that helps us reflect that feedback in ourselves, always. So in the case of a narcissist, it's just a really extreme example of where we are not minding our own business and staying on point. Like I had after my fallout with my business partner, I was really like, okay, universe, what the freak was that? Like that was just kind of a waste of 2 months. Thanks. Been there, done that. Don't really feel like I learned anything. Like if I needed evidence that I was done with that pattern, there's some more. Definitely wasn't trying to get tangled up in it. But I had to go back and really evaluate how I ended up there. And the reality was, it was curiosity. Plain and simple. Curiosity. And there was a little piece of me that was still wondering if I could help this individual. So we have to take note of our own behaviors going into things. If someone isn't coming to you, don't offer up your help. I don't care if it's a family member. I don't care if it's your mom. Don't offer up your help. Because you're just going to fall into that trap. It's our way of learning a lesson. You know, as an empath, this is our lesson. We can blame the narcissist all day long, or we can take responsibility for how we ended up in that position. And I know that I'm sick of it. I literally was like, I had other things I was trying to focus on, which was the end product of this business. I didn't need to get caught up in this crappy dynamic for 2 months out of my life. But I had to take responsibility for the fact that it was my curiosity that brought me there. Okay? This was an individual who has been, you know, there's a lot of great things about this person, but there were a few things that I was just like, I wonder. And in the end, those were things he wasn't trying to change. Like, he's a miserable control freak, and he's going to stay a miserable control freak. So the fact that I went in with this healing divine energy going, no, we can do it differently. He wasn't trying to do it differently. That was my fault, right? And granted, he pulled a bait and switch on me, but still, I'm the one that reached out to him with a curiosity, with an inquisitive nature, and it was my fault. It was my boundary. I wasn't respecting my own boundary. It had nothing to do with him. I can blame him all day long, but the reality is I was the one that set myself up for that. So if you're an empathic person and you're like, why do people always take advantage of me? Stop being curious. Stop being so inquisitive, and stop offering up this unconditional love you think you have to save the world. You're a human being. Your job is not to heal the world. Your job is to heal yourself and then be an influence. It's not your job to go rescue anyone. And so, again, I just think it's really important. No one ever talks about this part of it. We always talk about the narcissistic part of it and how they're the bad guy, but we never talk about how we end up in that situation to begin with. And as an empath, you know, we are notorious for meddling where we shouldn't, for thinking that we can take on a project and rescue a person when it's totally not our job or our responsibility. So I'm really happy in hindsight to be like, finally that piece of my shadow, it's like clear. That's what I was doing. And no more will I seek to try and help someone who isn't looking to be helped. Not doing it anymore. I don't care who it is. Like, if someone shows up broken, but they're willing to work on it, totally different scenario. But if someone is like, I want to stay miserable, okay, and I want to be an asshole, and I want to be broke, and I want to, you know, suffer in my humanness, let them be. Let them be, okay? Because if you don't, then you're not heeding the message, which is mind your own business, okay? So this is not a blame game. I'm an empath, and I really want to convey like what I've learned as an empath who has fallen prey to these narcissistic pricks, okay? You can do it too. Stop thinking that it's your job to rescue people. It's not. It is totally not. It is your job to rescue yourself and influence others in the process, okay? So again, tangible ways to put this into practice are you know, if you see a train wreck, let it be. Don't meddle thinking that you can help. Let that person come to you. I think being a coach has really helped me as well, because people pay me for help now. And when I'm off, I'm kind of off. Like, I'm really not even interested in helping people that much. That doesn't mean that I had completely resolved that pattern in myself. I think now I have, now that I kind of saw and really took a hard look at how I got involved in a narcissistic partnership, I guess, again. But I was so quick to remove myself because I knew I didn't want to engage it. And yeah, I took a hard, critical look at how I ended up there. And the reality was, it was curiosity. Gee, I wonder if, and maybe if, and let's try this, and blah, 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 blah. No, just mind your own business. Let people do their thing. And if someone wants your help, they'll ask for it. And even then, I would be looking for tangible results to know that they actually are putting that help to practice and not just using you for supply at that point. So I hope that was helpful. Yeah, I think it's really important that empaths know how to just stay out of that entanglement, because it's so common. And again, like, no one talks about it. We always just talk about, like, oh, gee, if I had known better, I wouldn't have got involved with this jerk. You know what I mean? But no one ever talks about the preventative part of it. And we have a responsibility to ourselves to sidestep some of this crap. And this is how you can do it. So I hope that was helpful. Again, if you like my videos, please subscribe to my channel. My goal is to make more of these now, and talk about some real practical ways to deal with everyday life situations and reality. Share my video as well, and I will see you next time, guys. Bye-bye.